Hey everyone, so after a little over 2 years, part 1 of Chainsawman is finally over. Now a lot has happened in that time, but more importantly, the first half of the series, or at least the first section, has come to a close. And in this video, I really want to talk about my first reactionary thoughts about the first part, the ending, and then I want to go into what I think we could potentially see in part 2. Now at first the ending came as a surprise to me. I figured it would wrap up soon, around when we got to chapter 90-ish, but I thought we would get a little more, at least for the final fight. When Denji was fighting Makima, he was going in, or at least her team, he was going into space and stuff, and I thought that was crazy. And I just felt like we could have gotten a little more in the final confrontation against Makima and her team again. But I understand that wasn't Denji, but it was like a clone, I guess. But I guess we still could have seen more. But that's just the final fight. Chainsawman was a wild, fully enjoyable ride from beginning to end. I honestly don't think we'll ever see a manga like it again. The pacing was so fast and intense, and Tatsuki Fujimoto's art was incredible. You know, when he actually tried, and when he wasn't just drawing random characters and stuff. Paneling was so creative, and occasionally there were some moments where the character writing was just great and perfect. Like the scene with Denji in the movie theater with Makima and Aki's final, in the chapters leading up to Aki's death and the gun double revelation. Those were great. Chainsawman is truly something special. But I am disappointed with some stuff. Makima as the final villain could have done so much more. I feel like the final, Chainsawman's arcs aren't really that deep or long, so how much can I really expect? But I still feel like she could have done a little more. I feel like the one time she really went all out was that time she tried killing Kobeni and Denji had to save her, and that really just didn't feel like a satisfactory way of like the villain using all of their power. Excuse me. The mystery of what was behind Denji's door was a huge disappointment too. A lot of people, including me, thought, having some problems today. But a lot of people thought, including me, that door could be potentially like a portal to hell, especially when you consider that big double-page spread of like what hell, everyone getting into hell for the first time. You just see all those doors just above them. It looks crazy, and I like that. And that could have been like a really cool connection to Denji, but it wasn't. But the final chapter was great. I really liked it. It was sweet. It was wholesome. After that crazy revelation that Denji was just gonna say fuck it and started eating Makima, I thought that was great. It set up part 2 very well, and I really, really couldn't be more excited to see what else Fujimoto has in store. But now, let's talk about what we could potentially see in the next part of the series, and then in the next part of the series, and more importantly, what I want to see. Now, even though Chainsawman is notorious for being impossible to predict, I still have a few solid predictions that I think could come true. So in this series, devils are basically immortal. If they die in hell, where they come from, they can come to the human world. But if they die in the human world, they go back to hell. And you see this cycle can continue pretty much indefinitely, unless, as we learn, Denji eats them. Then they're just gone forever and they're forgotten from history. And that takes away all their power, pretty much, because, devils' power comes from how feared they are in this series. I want to see any devils that we haven't already seen back in the world returned, at least, in some way. This includes the Gun Devil, the Snake Devil from the Katana Man arc, and so many more, I'm sure I'm not listing. Like maybe the Tomato Devil from that first iconic chapter. I also obviously want to see Denji just being a normal high schooler. There's definitely an opportunity for some great, Fujimoto-esque comedy, and I'm sure he knows that. The man himself put him in this situation for some reason. I think, surprisingly, more than anything else, I really want to see Yoshida come back. The guy from the octopus guy from the assassination arc, the hell arc, whatever you want to call it. He should still be alive. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be. We haven't seen him at all since around chapter 70. He could even be a high schooler, because he said he has finals to take. I know that could be college or high school, but if he did end up being a high schooler and went to the same high school as Denji, I think that would just be perfect. Same thing with Kobeni. I know she's not in high school, but but she's definitely going to come back in the series somehow. I also want to see what her devil contract is, because we still haven't seen her in action really at all. She kept it secret for a reason, so I really I mean, Fujimoto could be saving that for something, who knows. I want to see all the weapon devils that we saw on Makima's team return. That includes Reize, Quanji, the Katana Devil, all that stuff, you know. I don't know what's going to happen with them, but they could literally just be one-shotted and eaten by Denji, but still I want to see him come back. I also really hope that we learn more about Pochita, and maybe even see a flashback about the fight that left him injured in the first place. Because, you know, when we first saw him, it was in the flashback. It was just like the little flashback at the beginning of the series of Denji, you know, little injured pup, and that's how they met, and the rest was history. Finally, the fact that Part 2 is going to be published on the Shonen Jump Plus app can only mean one thing. Fujimoto's about to get really yucky with it. Denji is almost certainly going to achieve his lifelong goal of having sex. Oh yeah. And that also probably means more, I don't know, gore, violence too, whatever. It doesn't matter to Denji, because, I mean, we've already seen that. Chainsaw really pushed the limits of how gory and violent a series in normal Shonen Jump can be. And I like that. It was pretty good. That's pretty much it. I still can't believe that Chainsaw Man has already finished its first part. I remember reading the first few chapters when it was just when it was starting out, and I thought it was cool. I just didn't really think, you know, I would grow to like it as much as I do now. Currently, I have it as an 8 out of 10 series part overall, but I plan on rereading it, and that can easily change, you know, with things that I see earlier on in my reread being recontextualized as the series goes on or stuff, you know. But I really have no clue what's in store for us, so I guess all we can do now is wait. But what do you want to see from Part 2 of Chainsaw Man? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, I'm Brandino, and thanks for watching. Bye everyone!